Do you know how much of your brain you could live without? Because let me tell you, I know exactly what you could get rid of. And do you know how I figured that out? I kidnapped 1,000 people and I forced them all to get lobotomies. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't have that type of money. At least, not yet. You know what I did do? I removed parts of my brain to show you what you do and you don't need. Nah, I'm just kidding. If I did that, I'd probably just... Hey guys, it's me today. But seriously, what parts of your brain could you live without? Because the first one you could easily get rid of is your corpus callosum. What is the corpus callosum? The best way I can explain it is that the corpus callosum is like a highway between the two hemispheres of your brain. So if you don't know, you don't just have one brain. There's like two different halves and each one is gay. The corpus callosum, its only job is having each side of the brain communicate with each other. But the really interesting thing is there are people that have severed this part of the brain and are perfectly fine. You don't lose any parts of your personality. You still walk and talk and suck and fuck. The people that, got this part of their brain removed, they didn't just do it for no reason. It's not like they just one day kind of woke up and were like, hey, I think I'm just gonna cut this part of my brain today. So they got this part of their brain removed because it helps with seizures. The main side effect you get is split brain syndrome. So the best way to explain it is that one half of your brain controls one side of your body and the other half of your brain controls the other side of your body. So when you cut the corpus callosum, each brain starts kind of acting independently, but don't get me wrong, it's not to the extent where each brain starts coming up with their own opinions or start having their own personality, because I've seen people try and explain it that way, but science just has proven that that's not the case. You still are just one consciousness. What's also interesting is that you would think that because both sides of your brain can no longer talk to each other, that you would start having difficulty walking and talking, because doing those skills requires both halves of your brain. But these people are usually fine. As for Biden, I have no clue if he's okay or not. That's what's kind of really fascinating about the brain, that if you damage a part of it, it finds a way to adapt. And what's even better is there's lots of parts of the brain that focus on movement. So if one part of the brain that is damaged, that is involved with movement, other parts of the brain will make up for that. For example, that's why I think that the cerebellum you don't really need. So this part of the brain focuses on coordinated movement and motor skills. I don't think my family's gonna like this joke. So you know how when you're jerking off and after years of doing it, you build a very specific manner to jerk off? Well, that specific skill is stored in this part of your brain. I mean, fun fact, it's probably why you don't like it when other people jerk you off, because you are just gotten so adjusted to the way that you do it that when somebody else tries to do it for you, it doesn't even compete. How can you compete with me, a person who is a professional masturbator, because I have done it so much? Yes, I am a professional masturbator, and if you need help masturbating, call me up. I take Venmo, I take Bitcoin, I need money. Please, this YouTube thing isn't making any money right now. Here's another fun fact. At least 50% of your neurons are stored in this part of your brain. So I know you might be asking yourself, Miguel, if it holds up to 50% of my neurons and it plays a major role in moving, why do you think you will be okay without this part of your brain? Because there is an example of a lady living without this part of her brain. So what happened with this lady is that even though she didn't have this part of the brain that's specialized in movement, other parts of her brain started picking up the slack, and she was still able to move and walk and talk and suck and fuck. To be fair, this lady also was born without a cerebellum, so her brain had a lot of time to adapt. But yeah, it could just be too late for you if you remove this part of your brain, but who knows? I have had a lot of lobotomies in my life, and I think I'm fine. Imagine though I just turn to the side and there's a huge chunk of my head missing. What's funny is that there kind of is an indent in my head. Next up, we have the occipital lobe. Now, the main function of the occipital lobe is to process everything you're seeing, like every color.
Look at all the trees hated.
Every bit of writing. All the porn that you watch is probably just burned into this part of your brain. It's probably why I'm so blind, at least, because it feels like I've watched so much porn as it is. Where you see, You can actually see my eyes now, and then you put them on and they shrink a lot. The whole world is a blur when I take this off. So a genuine question, do I look better with the glasses or without the glasses? I know I'm like a little bit ugly, so both are probably hard to look at me regardless. I may be a little bit ugly, but I'm also a narcissist, so I think I look good, and that's all that matters. I know a lot of you might be saying, hey Miguel, I still want to be able to see. I mean, at least you get the blue parking pass if you go blind. That being said, living without this part of your brain does come down to whether or not you have a support system. Because obviously, if you're blind and you have nobody around you to help you out, life is probably gonna be very difficult. But I mean, you can still listen to movies, you can still listen to music, and most important of all, you can still drink and drive. Fun fact, blind people still use their occipital lobe. What ends up happening is that this part of the brain starts focusing more on hearing and improving their hearing. You ever hear of Daredevil, like the blind superhero that can see through echolocation? You would become just like that, you know, just like, oh babe, I can't see your titties, but fuck, let me hear them. Oh yes babe, they sound so delicious. Oh no. And the next part of your brain you can probably live without is your hippocampus. So this is the part of the brain that creates memories, and people have been known to live without it, but they just can't create any long-term memories. So scientists think that having memory is very important. I don't think memory is that important, honestly, and you know what? Despite what scientists say, if you lived without this part of the brain, it would probably be a lot like 50 First Dates. Dude, just record every part of your life, compile it all into a YouTube video, and you'll be fine. Probably. And do you know what I realized? I realized I only do like the same 5 things. I work on videos, I eat, I shit while I'm eating, I shit a lot actually. I wish there was more, but it turns out you need a lot of your brain to survive. But yeah, okay, bye.